Good heavens, it's a Monday already. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. CZ Studios are fired up for you on a Monday. I got to chuckle because it's been such a busy day today, and trying to get your feet firmly planted on the ground, as Greg can attest to after that big Sunday show on a Monday, can be a tough road to hoe there, Greg, in Dallas, Texas, can it not?
Yeah, it absolutely can. Monday gets here super fast.
Try to get my Patriot Mobile hat straightened out there. It's kind of tough to tell. I can never find this hat because my wife and kids are constantly taking it. Everybody wants to wear it because it's kind of cool and it's really comfortable. Anyway, CZ Studios lit up. We're live for you if you want to watch the stream on YouTube. That YouTube stream is also feeding the stream over at armedamericanradio.com or .org, where you can click either watch live or listen live. If you're watching the program, of course, we're now out there for you on YouTube. Lots of thresholds met there. So we're testing some things out. We're algorithmic testingly. Greg, how's that for the grammar, please?
That'll work.
Does that work? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that'll work.
Make sure to visit all of our great partners. You can find them all at armedamericanradio.com or .org. So we're going to go, Greg, I guess just tell people where to go to get into the chat. I'll let you do that, and off we go, right? How's that?
Yeah, that works. Just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
I have to get used to the new timestamps when we're doing what we're doing at this point because
Yeah.
I'm used to you going through that whole spiel, but that's okay. All right, listen, I've got Andy's going to like this because I see him on stage. Let's bring him up here. Let's bring him up on camera. There's Andy Hooser. Andy Hooser, he is, of course, the voice of reason. KQAM, Wichita's big talker. Andy, I'm getting amped up here. Mondays are long days. I've got my Kirkland energy drink here. How are you?
Man, living the dream. It's a Monday, greatest day of the entire week. Although my camera looks a little red. I don't know why.
Every time.
Weird sunburnt or something. I don't know what's going on. My camera's coloring is looking really saturated.
Could it
right
be
now,
the red lights that I have on in the studio behind me that are shining up in your face?
Right.
We can change that for you. You want me to
maybe.
make that blue? How about can we want me to make it green? Want to make it green?
Make that,
Let's do
change that
green.
a little bit. That's right.
All right, we'll make it green. Green's
I look like
coming.
I'm insanely sunburnt right now. What the heck's going on? I don't know what's going on.
look-
I'm going to have to fix that before my show.
You look like an alien. Greg, cue the music.
Uh-oh, here we go.
That's right.
Oh, here we
Yeah.
go.
Oops, wrong one.
go.
Here we go.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the federal government, the Trump administration, just last week
Friday.
released how many files, Andy, dating all the way back to 1946, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, 1946, 1947, more than 160 some odd documents on PDF file on the war.gov/UFO website.
UFO website, war.gov/UFO. How did you do a lot of digging into this? Because this is right up your alley. Greg and I and Andy were texting in our little group chat and had the links flying back and forth. We're going to tie this back to your guns, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to tie this to a complete and total mistrust of the federal government. Andy, I want your thoughts on this. This was massive. Paulina Luna was out just yesterday saying that the Trump administration is going, this was just round one, that there's more to come.
Yes.
She's all in.
Lots more to come. Oh, 100%. And that's why I'm so grateful that she is in there doing this. She actually had just obtained, I saw an interview over the weekend or maybe this morning, that she also has obtained the 40-plus videos that she's been wanting to release that are more high definition, 4K type of video that she said earlier on would mess a lot of people up when they see those. So she is going through the process to declassify those as we speak right now as well. So that way we can really see. So yeah, what we saw on Friday was round number one of this. It was, not a lot of overly crazy bombshells, especially with the video, just kind of the same video stuff that we've seen already. But I have read through a lot of the documents, and I broke some of it down on the weekend show, that there were a lot of testimony that, to me at least, was the most intriguing piece of this entire thing, of testimony from fighter jets, from military colonels and head leaders, from astronauts, of describing what they've seen, from UFOs to flying saucers, quote unquote, hovering over military bases, to even one testimony of seeing 3 to 3.5 foot tall beings in spacesuits. So that was some of the most intriguing pieces of what we had seen. It was kind of a soft dump. I'm going to say kind of a breadcrumb of what's to come soon. But if that's what we're expecting, then get ready, because we're going to see some pretty wild stuff here pretty quick.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't hear anybody, and I'm out online looking at a lot of stuff all the time. And I know Anna. I've interviewed her a couple times before she got elected. Okay? And I know her dedication. I can promise you this is not a joke. This is absolutely not a joke. She's got her head together. And it's interesting because you would think the left, they're really good at name calling. Luna, lunar, loony, some would say. Luna, lunar. Her name fits this whole thing, too. Right? So the whole thing is
she's been a rock star from the beginning.
She has been. She's been a rock star pre-beginning. She's been a prehistoric,
absolutely,
pre-rap rock star. She was a rock star when she was running down there and wiped out Charlie Crist in the Pinellas County area in Florida, down in my old stomping grounds, man. So, yeah, I have great faith in her, and I know that what she says is right. I know that what what she's talked about is true. I have 100% trust in her. Now, interestingly, it's at this point, ladies and gentlemen, it is hard for me to wrap my head around someone who can look at this and deny just about anything by saying simply, well, it's always grainy footage. How do you respond to that one, Andy?
Well, there's a few different ways to take that. Is that obviously back in the day, there were a lot of obviously not the best quality cameras to take pictures or video when that was first becoming a thing. So, of course, they were going to be grainy back then. But there was a theory that was released during that documentary at the beginning of the year, Age of Disclosure, where they tried to make the case, some of these astrophysicists and scientists that have been talking about anti-gravity stuff and zero-point energy and that sort of thing, where it's almost a force field around it that's creating the anti-gravity or the zero-point energy for them to live in their own, essentially, different realm, completely not aware of the gravitational laws or universal laws that's around them. So they almost create a bubble around themselves that's different with the laws of physics compared to what's on the outside of that bubble. And when we try to take photos, that's what we're seeing. We're not seeing the actual image of the object. We're seeing the image of the bubble that's around this thing. So
interesting.
That's a theory. That makes sense to me. But we'll see kind of as we get more of this stuff come out.
If you've ever watched Bob Lazar talk about his experiences at Area 51 and the area within Area 51 that he called, and Area 51 is huge, ladies and gentlemen, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of square miles of testing grounds. S4 was miles and miles and miles away from the main entrances to Area 51 and the main hangars. And if you've ever watched him, and I would highly recommend you do it, Joe Rogan's all in on this. I mean, he's had Bob Lazar on a couple times, and they're fantastic interviews. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And the latest one just a week or two ago with this new documentary where they did kind of the reconstruction AI wise of what he witnessed, what the base looked like, what the underground structures look like, what the UFOs look like. I am dying to, I have not yet seen that one, and I really, really want to. So I cannot wait to see.
Okay. That was,
because I guess,
it's out on Amazon. You can go watch it on Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
And it was the #1 or #2 movie in the week when it was first released. I've seen it 3 or 4 times, and it's fascinating. And what's interesting is I'm old enough to remember when Bob Lazar, when Mr. Knapp over at, I forget, I think KABC 5 or whatever it was out in Vegas, if I'm not mistaken, he's been working with Bob Lazar, for 40 some years since, almost 1989. And the definitions and descriptions that he gave back then are some of the actual photographs that we have today.
Sure.
Which is remarkable. And he has described this. This guy has passed lie detector tests every time he's taken one. So guys, here's the deal. Well, why do we talk about this? Well, number one, it's just fun on a Monday. It's fun to talk about. It's just fascinating to me. But ask yourself this question. Do you honestly believe your government, what they're telling you? And what other circumstances do you believe? Do you also believe the Warren Commission report is the end-all, be-all on Kennedy? I mean, come on now. You know the government has been lying to you about a multitude of issues, particularly those of you who follow gun rights. This is nothing new.
Mark,
my gosh, it drives me nuts, man. It just does, man. People, some of you got to wake up.
Well, and that's the thing. I almost made a post on social media this weekend. I didn't. I refrained myself because I was frustrated with the document dump that we saw that I think a lot of people, they said it was a nothing burger. They were getting very frustrated with the fact there wasn't literally just a video of, an ET walking out of a spaceship on a military base kind of thing. And I was optimistic the fact that we're moving in the right direction, that we're seeing this stuff that we should have seen a long time ago. But I wanted to make a post of how frustrating it is to where I don't trust right now, and I think most people have the same sentiment right now. If you're keeping any kind of secret, government, religious institution, organization, if you keep any secret, I really just don't trust you. at all.
And nor
And I
should
think-
you. Nor should you. Andy,
Yeah.
we're getting ready to take our first break. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, more about this because it all ties together. Wild stuff with Andy Hooser on his favorite day of the week. We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom today and every day here in the CZ studios, Monday through Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 to 2 p.m. Pacific Time. We have a bunch of new daytime affiliates, Greg. We'll mention those when we come back from the next break. We want to have some fun
that
with
works.
Right? Yeah, I got a bunch of them out there, some fun stuff. As we continue to grow, it just continues to grow, ladies and gentlemen. It just continues to grow, which means you need to be paying attention to sponsoring the program because they're the reason it grows. So help us, won't you? Real simple. Visit armedamericanradio.com, armedamericanradio.com, or .org. Take your pick, and if you're looking up at the QR code up there, I think it's up in that direction up there, that's Blackout Coffee, blackoutcoffee.com/AAR. You can hold your phone up to that. That'll take you right over there. You see them scrolling across the bottom. Greg, while we're on it, ask me how many cups of Blackout Coffee I had today, and here's a mug.
I'm going to say, are you asking me to guess the number, or do you want me to ask you how many cups?
Guess a number because you know what day it is today.
Yeah,
There's
I
a
do.
hint.
It's Monday, and there's going to be it's a 2-pot minimum on Mondays.
It's a 2-pot minimum between my wife and myself, yeah. So that's
you go.
blackoutcoffee.com, ladies and gentlemen, blackoutcoffee.com. You can also visit budsgunshop.com, and don't forget, join the National Rifle Association. Get your name out there. We need you. There's power in numbers, and while you're joining the NRA, you can also help visit, because we're all Virginians and we're all Arizonans right now, folks. azcdl.org, azcdl.org, and join to help keep Arizona from becoming the next Virginia. And in Virginia, the fight is ongoing, and it is nasty. And as these court cases ramp up, and they are, DOJ will be involved. They've already signaled that. They've already told her that, meaning Spanberger, and they've already done it in Colorado. Shots across the bow are flying. We're going to win this, but there's power in numbers, and we need as many numbers on those rolls as we can get. azcdl.org. It's real simple. It's $20 for the year. Become a Virginian and help, because it's coming to your state. If we don't stop it, it requires us to do the work. We are the cavalry. Outside of us, no one is coming to save us, ladies and gentlemen. It's all on us. So join these amazing organizations. Andy Hooser, the voice of Liaison. Welcome back in, my brother.
Oh,
So
I think I fixed it a little bit. All right.
Oh, yeah, good. Oh, so it doesn't matter. I can change the background colors. Okay, hey.
Mildly better. Yeah. There we go.
So, we go on this thing about, trust in government, right? That really agitates me when I hear people say that they believe, then you're telling me that you believe everything the government tells you, and I find that really hard to believe. Look, if you don't think there's anything to this, why has the government been sitting on this for the last 70, 80 years? Number one,
Right.
What are they hiding? What do they have that they're not showing us? Oh, nothing. Really? They just dumped 160 pages of documents that they've been hiding since 1946. You think they gave you everything? No, they did not give you everything. Do they ever give you everything? No. Now, to be fair, there's a lot of stuff we don't need out in the public domain when it comes to intelligence, et cetera. We want the government to take care of those issues. That's part of national security. We get it. This, too, is a part of national security, Andy, and there's a part of me that understands why, if they are sitting on some of this technology, they won't let it out. There's economic reasons why they won't let it out. They don't know how people are going to respond, what's going to happen to the global economy, et cetera. There's all this stuff, and I see you shaking your head. I'll go to you in a second. Just let me get my long-winded host nonsense out here. But the bigger picture is for you and I, ladies and gentlemen, us, the two of us. Listeners, pay attention here, okay? Stop believing what the government is telling you. You've been a victim of it as a gun owner and a Second Amendment supporter. As long as you've been a gun owner and a Second Amendment supporter, you of all people know what the government is capable of. We've seen it in just the latest 2 previous administrations with Biden and 2 administrations, one administration with Biden and 2 administrations, of course, with Barack Obama, who, by the way, just came out and told you he believes it's real. I don't know what else you need to hear. So understand that we're talking about a bigger, I don't know, is there anything bigger than extraterrestrial life and intelligence? Likely never in the history of this planet or in the history of our universe, as we know anyway. But as we bring it back closer to home, understand that the government is getting close to, and Trump is getting close to, admitting to you, at least in one category, these massive lies. What else are they hiding, Andy? You go down every rabbit hole there is. You can never trust any of them. Go ahead.
No, and that's why I'm frustrated. I don't trust any of them, and whether it's the government. And look, I mean, that's why I don't know how much will eventually get out. I mean, eventually we're not going to be satisfied until we get kind of what we're looking for. But that's going to be difficult because a lot of the stuff has been pawned off to private defense contractors to where they don't have to abide by the Open Records Act.
Yeah, no
which
FOIAs.
is intentionally why they put them over too. the private contractor. So that's going to be the frustration here. We're starting to get more information, but you're right. And you just said it right towards the end there, is that the reason they haven't done this is because they feel like they need to be the adults slowly warming up the children to accept it. Children meaning us. Because, and we talked about it before, the hearing and committee that was done during the Bush administration, bringing in religious leaders, economic leaders, scientists, whatever, saying, if we had this, theoretically, if we had this information, what would that do to humanity? Would this crash the economy? Would this challenge religious institutions, whatever?
Right.
And they overwhelmingly came back and said this would be a negative for humanity. Then we just saw right before the release of this information last week, what was it, Tuesday or Wednesday? We saw numerous quote unquote top religious leaders and pastors going to the government and seeing some of the same information, where they came back and said this would strongly challenge people's faith in God after they see this.
Now, let me stop you.
Let
me stop you for just a second, because I saw those reports as well. One of the pastors, his name escapes me, forgive me, but he insists, and someone else corroborated it, another of these supposed 6 pastors who were brought together by American intelligence officials to discuss what was getting ready to come out for the reasons you just mentioned. That people, that they were very concerned about the Christianity, beliefs, etc., theology, and what this would mean, and to prepare their flocks. This is fascinating stuff. Now, you have a lot of people that have to be lying here. You have fighter pilots that have to be lying. You have, in a couple cases, astronauts who have to be lying. You have government officials from every level who have to be lying. You have pastors who have to be lying. And I'm talking about the ones that come out and are telling you what they believe to be the truth. Now, you would have to believe that all of them are liars.
Right.
So, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. And that, of course, just reaffirms our knowledge that we can never trust government at any level on any topic of any, no matter what it is. We've got to trust but verify. This is why we have to hold government accountable. This is how we tie this right back to our Second Amendment rights. It's why we fight for what we fight for. It's all tied together.
It's all tied together. Yeah, and this is why, and again, this is going to get me in trouble. People may be angry. So all your new listeners with your new radio affiliates, first off, welcome. That's awesome that you're growing with all the great affiliates. That's great. I'm now considered the crazy alien guy on this program, but that's okay. But
you're not crazy to me. I love having this conversation with you. You've got 25 seconds.
But this is fun. But this is why it's going to be very triggering. People may be angry. The Catholic community, I'm sorry. Look, the religious institutions, if they have not prepared you for this type of conversation, then they're at fault for, again, keeping us like sheep and keeping us so hidden and saying that this doesn't exist. For the longest time, churches, this doesn't exist. It's not really real. You know, there's no such thing as aliens, yada, yada, yada. And they conditioned humanity to believe that, to now all of a sudden, oh, this might challenge your faith because we have to prepare our flocks for this type of information.
If you honestly believe
that a long time ago.
Yes, and if you honestly believe, ladies and gentlemen, that the Vatican doesn't have hidden truths down in the basement, you're out of your ever-loving mind. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. PatriotMobile.com, PatriotMobile.com. Now, my phone battery is dead right now. I just found that out. But this is a Patriot Mobile activated phone. Folks, you can do the same thing. Visit PatriotMobile.com, PatriotMobile.com. Put that /AAR over there. You don't have to do that. You can use a promo code as well. Or you can just click on Patriot Mobile on the link. It is live over at our website at armedamericanradio.com, armedamericanradio.com. You can visit them. And guys, join a company that supports your rights and supports your values and wears it right on their sleeve and donates and supports these massive gun groups across the country, as well as lots of little small ones, most likely in your state, and you don't even know it. That's Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile working behind the scenes to support your gun rights. All you've got to do is activate your phone over there. It's really simple. It takes about 15 minutes. Slide one line at a time. Your number doesn't change. 100% American staff. They get you right hooked up. It's that simple. All based down in, as AWR Hawkins would call it, Texas. So visit them, patriotmobile.com. Let's go to Andy Hooser, the voice of reason. Andy, welcome back in, my brother. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, man.
It's fun for a Monday.
It is always fun. I like talking with you about this stuff. It's interesting stuff to me because I think it to me, it speaks to a bigger issue. And I don't mean the universe thing. I'm talking about here at home. This speaks to a bigger issue where people just believe what they're fed. We see that from the leftists all day long. They want bigger government. They trust bigger government. They believe bigger government. I mean, these are people that keep electing people like Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and I could go on down the line. AOC, just start naming them one right after the other. Chris Murphy, Swalwell, all right, Newsom,
Well, let me.
Hochul.
Yeah.
Okay, they just buy into everything that they're told. Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. First off, I'm optimistic because since COVID, I think a lot of people have woken up to question everything. And like we just went off in the last segment, again, not to knock religious institutions, but if they're keeping a secret, then I don't trust them whatsoever. And like you said before, if there are extraterrestrials, if there are beings out there somewhere in the universe or interdimensional or whatever the heck you want to call them, wherever they're coming from, if they are there and the government or the Vatican or someone is keeping that secret, that is literally the most important information that humanity could ever probably need to know, is that we're not alone here and something else is going on. And to keep that, if you're keeping that secret, what else are you keeping secret? Right. And I don't trust a dang thing you say at all on anything else, because obviously you have a narrative. I'm not going to trust that whatsoever. So to apply it to the times today, we came out of the COVID pandemic. We had a lot of secrets that were kept by the government. We are now starting to see that. I mean, I grew up being told the truth always comes out in the end, so you better tell the truth right away, because we'll find out eventually, either immediately or down the road. We're starting to see that, and I think that led to a lot of people questioning everything. And now we have essentially zero trust in our health departments. I have more trust now with RFK Jr. Because he's, says it straight up and he's changing a lot of things. But we're seeing why we didn't trust them in the first place with the gain of function that was going on and the secrets they were keeping and the shadow banning that was going on. And now we're seeing this, we're seeing a shift in culture to where I think more people are fed up on numerous different issues, which is why Paulina Luna is doing what she's doing, and Tim Burchett and Nancy Mace are doing these hearings, not just on UFOs and UAPs, but on the 9/11 documents, on the JFK documents, on everything else that's coming out and saying we're finally had enough. Unless it, at least in my opinion, right now, unless it immediately affects the threat of a terrorist organization or a military operation that is currently ongoing, unless it impacts us directly right now, nothing else should be kept secret whatsoever. Well, open it up, say what the heck's government doing. That's what we need to know. Finances or previous operations or things that we've done or things that or different agencies have done. All of it should be made public. And it's a boiling frustration of we don't have this information accessible to us. That should be a treasonous act against the American people.
Well, the people that I trust in government, as much as you can trust people in government, are the ones that are trying to obtain some of this accountability, the ones that are trying to obtain some of this, what's the word that I'm looking for? I don't know. It escapes me right now, but I trust people who are trying to get to the truth and are at least, particularly when it comes to a topic like this, where a lot of people out there over many, many decades have thought, oh, you're just nuts. We're not coming forward. If you do, you're just losing your mind. You people need your mental health checked out. These are very intelligent people who are really putting it on the line on a subject that has been taboo for a long time. And you have to ask yourself why they're willing to do that when they are in elected positions and have a lot of power. They've seen what you haven't seen, and they're every single one of them, including the three that you just mentioned. Burchett, Mace, and Luna are coming out and telling you that if you've seen what I've seen, ask if they're believing what they see. The answer is yes. All three will tell you that. They've already said that publicly. And let's not forget that this was Harry Reid that started this years ago when he opened up the funding to the tune of millions and millions of our taxpayer dollars. He's the one that wanted it out. Fascinating.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And we need skeptics. We always need skeptics, someone to think outside the box, say, is there a rational, I always love the old school, if people still watch any like those ghost hunting shows, the ghost hunters back in the day, like the original ones, where they would go into a situation and not be like, oh, I heard a creak, it must be a ghost trying to communicate with us. They would try to explain things and be like, hey, there's, a wiring that's really bad, so it's giving off some weird frequencies and making your stomach turn when you walk near it or whatever else. There's a tree scraping against the side of the house when you hear this. They would try to debunk it, and then if they couldn't, then there was something going on. There's a lot of skeptics in Congress that are now coming around after sitting through this, after hearing it and wanting to come about it. But you mentioned the government trust and these Democrats. Look, the Democrat Party, the progressives, let's do it that way, because you're right. Harry Reid was one wanting to get this information out, and others as well. The progressive movement plays on that. They say they want government transparency, but then they're the ones that openly say, we know better than you know. Therefore, you just have to abide by and listen and accept the information that we give you while we keep the rest of the information secret and hidden from you. That's been their motto for a very long time, the do as I say, not as I do mentality. And that's why they're so non-relatable to the American public nowadays. And you see, everybody going out there when they're on the campaign trail trying to create fake accents, and why they're trying to do these social media trends is because they are so unrelatable to the American people now that they have to find a way to pretend, because they truly are, when you talk about the elites and the deep state and ones that are out of touch with humanity, that's who they are. That's what's going on. And, they're starting to recognize that.
Yeah. And by the way, the word I was looking for earlier was transparency. Okay. I don't know why that was escaping me, but it was. Just call it a brain whiff for just a second.
That's right.
Greg, we talk about some things. We talk, the hemp bill. It was Mitch McConnell that threw that monkey wrench in. And if it doesn't get fixed right now, come November, what was legalized under the Farm Bill, which the politicians who don't like it will call it a loophole. That's what always happens, right, guys? The gun show loophole. They don't like it, so they call it a loophole. They just make up a word. It's not a loophole, okay? It was legalized. And there are millions and millions and millions and millions of Americans who rely on that stuff for pain. I'm one of them. It works fantastic for pain, and it's great for sleeping. But it will be against the law come November. Pretty much that simple, because of Mitch McConnell. One man decided so and threw it into the big, beautiful bill. Hopefully, now, the reason I'm talking about this, because what does this have to do with big government? It has everything to do with big government. Greg, I want you to jump in here, because he'll tell you. Greg, without you and I ever talking about this over the course of today, you have no idea where I'm going with this. What is the one industry, and why is it that the government is trying to stop the hemp?
That's going to be big alcohol.
Boom. See, I knew that's what he was going to say, because we've talked about it before.
30.
They know for a fact, big alcohol tied into the federal government. For crying out loud, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to make bourbon, it has to be by U.S. code and law. Bourbon recipes are mandated by federal law. Maybe you didn't know that, okay? Maybe we should find that out after work today, Andy. Let me check my federal law stash of Maker's Mark after the show today, right? See if they're making it up to code. The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, that there's always something else in play here. Follow the money and you get to the truth. It's pretty much that simple. Andy, when we come back, speaking of aliens, we're going to talk about Bill Maher, who made some comments about political violence on his last show. AWR is writing about it, and I wish I had time to talk with him about it last night, but we did not. We'll go into it today with Andy Hooser, the voice of Lazar, right after this. Hey guys, during a break, had another question just a few minutes ago. I love when I get questions about the guitar. That guitar looks different than what was there last night. You've got pretty good eyes. Last night, we was at a Gibson SG. Now, I don't know how you could tell by looking at the headstock that that's not an SG, but someone wanted to know what this guitar is. This is a Gibson Les Paul Jr. with that single screaming P90 pickup on it. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's in a, what I call it, what I refer to it as a tobacco sunburst, I guess is what Gibson calls it. And this is one of the most, let's say, I don't want to say underrated, because anybody that's ever played one knows it is absolutely not underrated. I guess maybe that would work. Underrated might work. But guys, if you play guitar and you've never picked up a Les Paul Jr., do yourself a solid, okay? I don't know if anybody knows Charlie Starr from Blackberry Smoke, but Charlie Starr's got a very famous Les Paul Jr. Looks just like that, but his is from the 1950s. It's worth a fortune. And it started out in the hands of the Georgia Satellites. Remember them? Greg, what was that song they did, the Georgia Satellites? Well, you keep your hands to yourself, right? Something like that?
I think so.
Keep your hands to yourself. One of those deals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guitar that Charlie Starr has. So if you ever want to look it up and see some really cool information about it, head over to YouTube and check out Charlie Starr Gibson Les Paul Jr. P90, and you'll get some great videos on that. But it is an absolute screaming guitar, because that single coil doesn't have opposite polarization on the magnets, because it's only a single coil. So it hisses and feeds back, and it growls, and it's a monster. In fact, it's so monstrous, Leslie West made it famous when he wrote the song Mississippi Queen and played that guitar for years and years and years, and it was written on a Les Paul Jr., exactly like that one. So anyway, there's your guitar trivia for the day today on the Les Paul Jr., and this thing will be screaming and busting out those Marshalls in about 15 minutes, maybe? Something like that. Coming back to you in just a second. Welcome back, guys. AttorneysOnRetainer.us. Third break, fourth segment. I open up with this read for Attorneys on Retainer in every hour of every one of our broadcasts across this country. Guys, this company is the real deal. It is a team of well over 100 lawyers, the Attorneys for Freedom law firm out in beautiful Phoenix area in Arizona. And guys, that's all they do is specialize in keeping you out of jail and keeping you out of trouble if you have decided to carry a firearm or anything else for that matter for self-defense. You don't even have to have it with you. If you are being attacked and use a brick or a rock or a stick you find on the ground and you're charged with a crime, or even just being investigated prior to being charged with a crime and maybe not being charged, which you're not entitled to a lawyer, you have a lawyer. It's $37 a month. Use the promo code AAR. Visit attorneysonretainer.us, attorneysonretainer.us/AAR. You can click on them over at our website and put an attorney in your pocket. We'll save you $25 off the sign-up fee, and it's only $37 a month for teams and teams and teams of attorneys. And if you do have to go to court, you will have 4 of them. Count them, 4 of them, sitting at your table. Those of you old enough, remember the dream team. Attorneys on Retainer is, in fact, your dream team, and you will sleep better at night. Every family member of mine has it. Visit all of our great partners. Make sure to check out also, we're talking about senators in the previous segment with Andy Hooser. Justin McNeil is running in South Dakota. We need people like him elected. Visit his website. Won't you check out his platform? You'll like it. He's one of us. Support him. You do not have to live in South Dakota. The decisions they make anywhere in the country in all 50 states impact you. See Schumer, see Reid, listen to that previous conversation. Every single one of them, and it's easy to do. It's Justin McNeil, McNeal.com, and throw some support behind him as we go into the midterms. Andy Hooser, the voice of reason, welcome back in, my brother. Let's bring you back up on stage.
Yes,
welcome
sir.
in. Yeah, so did you want to put a final stamp or an exclamation point on what we were previously talking about? I'm ready to move to Bill Maher if you are.
Yeah, let's go to Bill Maher. I'll just say that, you know what, it takes a lot of time and effort to gain trust. And if an institution, religious, government, whatever, business otherwise, lies to you, keeps secrets from you, then I don't trust them. And I think we're in an age now of transparency. We're in an age of disclosure, not just with UFOs, UAPs, but just in general of we're tired of being kept in the dark and being treated like children.
Yep.
Give us all the information. Let us make our own decisions. Let us come to our own conclusions. You don't have to, you don't have to keep things from us. You don't have to protect us from anything. Give us everything and let us make our own decisions. But when there are secrets, that means there's a narrative or they're trying to protect something.
That's
You
fact.
mentioned, religion or energy or the economy or the global economy being crashed. If this information is out, well, then you probably shouldn't have kept the secret in the first place that allowed us to be in a system that would collapse at that point, because the truth always comes out in the end.
It is absolutely inevitable, and we're getting closer and closer every single day. By the way, Doug Hamlin, since I'm looking at a piece by A.W.R. Hawkins, guys, if you were listening to the program when I was at the NRA convention in Houston last month, next week it will be, so it's about 3 weeks ago, I interviewed Doug Hamlin, the executive director of the NRA. And as I was going to this piece on Bill Maher from A.W.R. Hawkins, he also has a piece up, and let me just go back to this headline here because it matters. Exclusive, NRA CEO Doug Hamlin, Trump administration is in lockstep with the Pro-2A movement. We'll be talking about that during the course of this week, and no doubt talk with A.W.R. Hawkins about that piece and many others that he will write between now and then. Let's go to Bill Maher. Bill Maher, this guy's fascinated me for a long time. I remember the days I couldn't stand him. Couldn't stand him. Well, the Democrat Party at that time that I couldn't stand Bill Maher was a whole lot more centrist than they are now, and I'm going back 20 years. The party has left Bill Maher and has moved so far left that Bill Maher, who was farther left than the centrist Democrat Party back in those days, now appears rational. That's how far left the Democrats have gone. Here's what he's stating in AWR's headline is the gun control leftists are now lionizing Luigi Mangione, and he's got a really good point here. This was during his last episode of Real Time. He targeted the left for pivoting away from supporting gun control to supporting people like Luigi Mangione and, quote, other alleged assassins. He began the portion of his monologue saying this, and finally, Luigi Mangione, Cole Thomas Allen, Tyler Robinson, and the ghost of Thomas Crooks must form a boy band called New Kids on the Glock. Mangione allegedly shot and killed United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on December 4, 2024. There's nothing alleged about that. I don't have to say alleged. AWR does. I don't. We all know he did it. It's on video. And then, of course, White House correspondents, Cole Thomas Allen, Tyler Robinson, assassinating Turning Point USA's Charlie Kirk on September 10th, Thomas Crooks attempting to assassinate Trump on July 13th in Butler, and of course we have the White House Correspondents' Dinner, as I just mentioned. And Bill Maher makes this point. These are not your father's political assassins. Things have changed. For one thing, today's assassins have popular support with kids. And he said up to 40% of America's young adults say violence is okay to achieve a political goal. Wow, seems like 5 minutes ago when one of the big causes of the left was gun control. But now guns are the answer? And he continued, I guess Luigi is a blanking rock star. He's the OG hot assassin. The young assassins coming up even name check him in their manifestos. Is Bill Maher getting it? Now keep in mind, Bill Maher is an admitted gun owner who will never give up his guns unless he knows, and I quote him, I know everyone has given up their guns, which is never going to happen, Andy.
Right. Yeah, look, I mean, Bill Maher is an old school Democrat. That's the way the Democrats were. And we used to have, if you look at the political spectrum, we've progressively gotten further to the left every year. And there's a lot of Democrats that say, I didn't leave the Democrat Party left me. And Bill Maher is one of those guys to where, I'm sure we still vehemently disagree with each other on social issues or on abortion or on maybe some socialized and economic policy to some degree. But he's openly said at the same time that, taxes are way too high, that we're not going to do socialism, that Mom Donnie is completely destroying the Democrat Party on the Second Amendment. Like you said, most Democrats, there's a lot of Democrats that still own firearms, which is why, and you talk about it all the time on this show, as a gun owner, if you're a Democrat, what are you doing? You better either speak up a lot louder in your party to start changing the platform of what they stand for the Second Amendment, or you better reconsider your affiliation with the Democrat Party, because that's not where they're at right now. So yeah, Bill Maher and others have said this party has gone way too radical, and God bless Bill Maher and people like John Fetterman trying to rein it back in. I don't know if it's going to be successful. Probably not. They'll burn the party to the ground before the radicals let go of their power and control, but they got to try, and God bless them for trying to call them out for it.
Yeah, and Morris, he's been fun to watch. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say he changed. I don't think he has. He's been pretty true to form, and it's just evidence that the party has moved that far left. But when it comes to gun control, guys, here's the deal. The Democrats, it's pretty simple, folks. They're not single-issue voters on their gun rights. They have their gun. They're cool with it. They don't mind jumping through the hoops to get it. They have one. They're good. That's not the people we're concerned with. We're concerned with the people in the middle. Guys, Andy, we're getting ready to call it. I hate to do that, but I love Mondays with you, brother.
60.
Always fun.
It's
Andy
fun.
Hooser, the voice of reason. Where can people find you coming up right after this broadcast and watch you and listen to you live?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. First off, congrats again on the new affiliates on there. I have a new one I'm announcing tomorrow, which is really exciting too, with the weekday show. So, I mean, growing on both ends, this is what it's all about, trying to get this information out there. And yeah, Mondays, having a bit more entertainment, talking about ETs and UFOs, but it does relate to culture. It relates to government secrets, everything that we're trying to battle.
30.
If they can keep secrets of the big stuff, that means the little stuff is of non-importance to them, and they'll keep secrets about it all day long. And when we talk about advocating for the Second Amendment
20
rights and us in order to protect ourselves, the only way we can protect ourselves is
10
by
seconds,
making
brother.
our own decisions. Hoosierreason.com. Always love you, brother. We'll talk to you on Monday.
All right, I did not get to my affiliates. I'll do that tomorrow. I'm looking at the list. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your day. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you on the radio tomorrow. Okay, ladies and gents, thanks for being here today. We do appreciate it. Got to ask you to do us a solid. Head over to YouTube. You're going to see the program on YouTube. We're pushing that out. We'll get it back out on X for you at some point in the very, very near future, but there is a method to our madness. Please like and share. We need you to subscribe. Comment in there, please. Help us open up this algorithm, which has been happening remarkably fast over the last 3 to 4 months, particularly since last Friday when they opened up a lot for us, and we do appreciate that very, very much. Make sure to spread it. Get it out there. Like, share, comment. We do appreciate it very much. And subscribe to us on YouTube. Ask your kids to do it. Ask your wives to do it. Ask your husbands to do it. Get your friends to do it. And we would appreciate that greatly. It's a big, big help to us as we continue to grow our social media front. To our new affiliates, I'll mention them tomorrow on the air. I did not get to them today with Andy Hooser. Hope you enjoyed the program today as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Enjoy your day. Stay safe. And we'll see you on the radio tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific time.